Hi my loves, so today I'm going to be doing a holiday glam look. I'm not going to bore you guys too much right now because I do have a couple disclaimers right at the beginning of me starting my makeup, so I am just going to roll on into that. But if you want to see how I created this holiday inspired look, just keep on watching. Alrighty guys, so I want to just quickly make a little disclaimer. I may be a little bit out of whack in this tutorial. I know it's been a while since I've done a video, but it also is a new setup. If you don't know, I just recently graduated college. I now have my bachelor's in psychology, so really exciting. But I did move locations. I moved out of the house, so it's my first time, you know, out on my own. Well, not really on my own, I'm living with my boyfriend, but it definitely is my first time kind of doing things my own way. So I'm trying to learn as I go, and it's just a little bit of a learning curve, so just bear with me while I get settled. This is the last move that I have to do for a very, very long time, so hopefully I can really start pumping out videos. I know that I've been really sporadic the past couple years, mainly because of the fact that I've been going back and forth from college, and it's just really kind of a pain in the ass. I was not close to where I lived. I was about like little over 4 hours from my house, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you have to move everything and you're constantly going back and forth, it does end up becoming a pain, and it's a little bit of a hassle to get stuff out. So hopefully this will allow me to do a lot better and get a lot better in my videos. I also, well, you're not going to be able to see, but I have a monitor right here. It's actually not a monitor, it's like a mini TV that my mom had lying around the house, and we used to have it in our kitchen, but she just never set it up in our new apartment. So she actually allowed me to take it, and I'm using that to kind of tether my camera so I can see what you guys see, and hopefully it'll help me, because if you don't know, I wear glasses. I hate wearing contacts because they give me really bad migraines when I do wear them, so I try as hard as I can not to do that. But I do like to be able to see that things are in focus. I like to be able to tell that what I'm filming is coming out okay, and to kind of bypass having to wear contacts and get those migraines, I try to do a bigger, larger monitor than the little flip out one on my camera. I like the little flip out one, and it works really good if you're just doing like close up photo shots, but if you're trying to sit like a little bit further back, or you know, for video, sometimes I really have a hard time seeing even a couple feet in front of me, so it's just not the best thing for me. So I have a larger screen now to see, and hopefully this helps you guys get a better quality video from me. So yeah, let me just stop rambling. I just wanted to do some quick disclaimers, and now let me get on into the actual tutorial, or not really a tutorial. I don't really like to call things tutorials unless I spend a lot of time really narrowing down how I want things to go. I'm kind of just applying my makeup and going for a holiday theme today. So I have already on my Urban Decay Primer Potion in Fix, and that's already all over my eyes. I have my eyebrows done. Don't tell me they look fake, because I actually have no eyebrows. I shaved them off. I know they're a little harsh, but once all my makeup is on, they will definitely look a lot better, or at least they'll look a lot more cohesive. So today I want to use two palettes, and the reason I'm using these is because my babes got them for me. I'm so super excited to try them out. They are the Urban Decay Born to Run palette and the Tarteist Pro Remix palette. Now I have the other versions of the Pro palettes, and they're like Tarte lip palettes, and I really do like those versions, but this one is supposed to have a lot more pops of color, a lot more shimmer. You really only get these three mattes, which is pretty much your essential colors, so a beige, a medium brown, and a matte black, but the rest are supposed to be very vibrant shimmers, and it's supposed to have a lot more pops of color than typical Tarte palettes. So I'm really excited for this. I love the packaging. It's really, really pretty, and it has kind of that, like, I don't know what you would call that, but you know those, like, you know, these where it kind of like shifts the package or the picture that you see. It's really pretty. Do I think that the packaging matches the shadows? No, they're a lot brighter for Tarte, but they're definitely not like this bright by any means, but it's still very pretty packaging. And then the Urban Decay Born to Run palette, which is this really just, I think this is the best packaging Urban Decay has ever come out with. It's the most practical. Like, this whole thing flips all the way back. You have a large mirror here, and you have all of your shadows with no excess packaging. Everything fits really perfectly into this, and it's super pretty. You have a decent array of mattes and shimmers. And sorry, I'm kind of doing a little mini mock review just because I want you guys to get an idea of why I really like these palettes and why he decided to pick them up for me. So this one has more mattes. You get about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would still call this one a matte here. So the matte shades here are Still Shot, Riff, Baja, Hellride, and Punk, but I would say Weekender is kind of like that satiny matte leaning more towards matte. So definitely more mattes in this one, but I definitely want to play with some of these as well. So I'm gonna get started onto the eye look, and I do want to keep trying out doing the darker color in the crease and stuff first, and then start blending out from there. So I'm gonna try that today. And I want to go for more of a goldy, maybe just like a slightly burgundy look, because I kind of want to do a bright red lip, and I might add a little bit of glitter, so we'll see. I want to do more of a holiday theme look today. So I'm going to take this shade, which is Punk, and it's just like a dark like burgundy brown. I'm taking it onto a BH Cosmetics. It says number 9, but I know I have other number 9 brushes from BH Cosmetics, so I think it's just like part of their white handle brush collection. And I'm going to do, I think, the typical placement that I do, which is basically keeping the darkness on the outer corner and the crease, and doing a really bright shimmer on the inner half of the lid. Because that's where I kind of like to put glitter, and if I want to do glitter, I kind of like to leave all of this open. Once you have the dark color place, what I see most people do is go in with their next color and then use that to blend. I've had issues with that in the past where it leaves the harsh line. So I'm gonna go in with my fluffy brush. I'm using the Morphe M433. It's kind of similar to the MAC 217. Honestly, I like the 217 better. This one can be slightly scratchy if you blend for too long. So I prefer the 217 or even the Sigma one, but these are good for an inexpensive alternative. And if you use a light hand, they're not too bad, but I find that if I blend for too long with some of their white hair brushes, I just find that they kind of make my eyes a little irritated. But I'm just gonna blend this edge so that we don't have that harsh line. I am 15 minutes into filming and I have one color down. Great. Anyways, I wanted to just quickly show you because I'm going to be using the same brush that I used to blend out this color for my transition. Now, even though you use this to blend it out and you want it to blend into the next color, you don't want a lot of that dark pigment where you're gonna have that lighter color. You really want it to fade into each other, so you want to wipe off your brush in between. Now, I normally use a washcloth, but it is a bitch and a half, honestly, to use washcloths as not only a spot cleaner kind of like towel, but also as like an in-between each color like wipe off towel. So I always wanted to try the color switch, but I didn't want to pay for one. So I actually heard somebody say that you can use these donuts as like a DIY color switch, and it works really, really well. I've only used it with dry products. I'm pretty sure it's made to only use with powder products, like even the original color switch, but it works really well. I think you basically just rub your brush on it like this and it cleans off the excess product. Even if there's like a little bit of tint that you see there, you're not gonna have any color coming off onto your skin, so it really gets off that excess pigment, which I like. And honestly, I just had this lying around. I don't use this anymore for my hair, so it was one of those things that I kind of repurposed, and it works really well. I didn't have to go out and buy an actual color switch like tin product. So now I'm gonna go in and start blending out. I'm using this shade right here. Sorry, it's a little bit difficult because the monitor is like the opposite. So if I'm going left, I see the monitor going right, so it's a little bit difficult. But I'm taking this shade right here, and I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that product and basically go over where you can already see that the color is thinned out. And that's where you want to place this color. And don't pick up too much product, because I did do that in the past where I was really trying to add a lot of pigment, and the issue I found with that was that now you're gonna be blending, and it's just gonna get everywhere instead of sticking to just this little transition area. So since you're not doing this like your typical like laying this down all over and then building the darker color up on top, you really want to make sure you're using a lot less product than normal. I'm gonna go in now that I have that kind of place. I'm gonna basically wipe off my brush again. I also took the brush that I applied the darker color with, and I just basically went over just to really intensify the color. But now I'm just gonna wipe off the brush, and then once it's kind of cleaned off, just really go around and buff these two colors together. To even further blend out this top portion, you can keep going over it with a clean fluffy brush and just really buff and blend it out. I like to do a highlight, so I'm not going to really focus too much right there. I'm going to apply my highlight first. So I'm going to take this shade Breakaway, and it's just a very light kind of satiny shimmer. It's not super like shimmery and intensely like icy, but it's going to add a slight sheen. Since I'm going for more of a Christmassy or holiday look, I want to go ahead and use a shimmery like champagne or gold on the lid. So I'm actually using the Stila Shimmer and Glow, and this is in the shade Starlight, which is just a very light kind of champagne shimmer. And I'm just going to apply this to the inner like portion of my lid and kind of almost create a cut crease, I think, with this. With these types of products, you don't want to really be looking up as they're drying. You want to really make sure that you're letting them dry like flat so that they don't crease, but you do want to go in and slightly buff this edge. And hopefully I didn't wait too long. The Stila liquid shadows, if I were to leave it in a thick layer, look really pretty on their own. I know it doesn't look super fantastic right now, but that's because I want to layer another shadow over it, so I'm not super like caring about how precise it looks yet. What I want to do is incorporate a shade from the Tarteist Pro Remix palette, and I'm gonna take Moonlit? Sorry. So just this kind of champagne-y, like beigey color, and it has a slight gold tone to it, and I'm gonna pick up that shade. I'm just gonna use that same brush I used to highlight and just tap this all over like that. To add a little bit of like holiday sparkle, I'm gonna do a line of glitter along the inner portion where that cut crease, like soft cut crease is. So I'm going to take my Lit Cosmetics glitter glue or liquid glitter base, and I'm going to take a glitter. Now these I believe are all JCat Beauty glitters. I didn't like the packaging that they came in, so I just bought this little container thing from Michael's or Marshall's. I always can never remember which one it is. The craft store. And I basically just kind of repackaged them into this so that they were easier for me to use and keep organized. So I think since this is more of a holiday look, I'm gonna go for a gold, and I think I'm gonna use this middle gold right here. So just a standard typical gold. So all you basically do in this container is you just unscrew it, and there is your product, but I think I might just use what's in the lid. So first what I do is I just dip my brush into the glitter base and then kind of wipe off the excess. Just tap it into the glitter. And then I'm going to draw a line. This side is definitely a little bit thicker than the other one, but you know what? I'm just gonna leave it like that just because it is glitter, so a lot of it's just gonna reflect light. It's not gonna be as noticeable once you get everything else on. So I'm going to apply my liquid liner now. I'm not gonna do a wing. I really need to practice more on how to do wings on my eyes. Sometimes it comes out perfect, sometimes it's just a pain and it ends up ruining the eye look. So I'm gonna do it the way that I normally do, which is basically just a thin line along the upper lash line. For my lashes today, I'm gonna basically go with the standard lash that I normally do because it definitely is a bit dramatic on my eyes since it is a bit longer. So these are the Ardell Wispies, but these are the 113s, I believe. So they are a little bit longer than their typical demi wispies. There we go. So they're a little bit longer than the demi wispies, but once they're on, they definitely add a decent bit of drama. So I'm going to apply these off of camera because I suck, and I will be back with my foundation and concealer done as well because I don't want this to be too long of a video. So I'm going to try and explain how I did my foundation because I didn't want it to be too long, but I want to give you guys an idea of what I've been doing. So for the actual products, I use the Ulta Demi Matte Foundation in Cream as my foundation. I use the Makeup Revolution C6 Conceal and Define Concealer under my eyes and through the center of my face, and then just on some little random spots. And then I use my Rimmel Stay Matte Powder in 20 Nude Beige to set the surrounding areas of my face, and then for the center of my face, I use my loose powder. It's kind of like a banana powder mixed with a bunch of other translucent powders, so it's not just one product, so that's why I'm not really mentioning it, but just a translucent powder underneath my eyes. And then I'm kind of baking right now because I'm trying to do this thing where I'm using less foundation, really buffing it in. So what I'm doing is taking the foundation, using less product than I would normally do, taking the brush, any type of like buffer brush, and just basically stippling it into the product and just really buffing it into the skin. Now, I don't really like brushes because they do leave slight streaks and things. You can get it relatively unstreaky, and depending on your skin type, brushes can work for you, but they just are not my cup of tea. So what I do is I really buff it in to get that thin layer and to get it smoothed out all over my face. Then I go in with my sponge, tap it out, apply my concealer, tap that out, and then set my face with powder. So that's pretty much how I've been doing my foundation. It's not super different to normal, but it's basically thinning out the product so that it definitely looks a lot more natural here on my cheeks and along my forehead. A lot of times that's where I notice that I get that not cakey look, but that foundation-y look where you can tell that there's makeup. So I'm trying to really thin out the product towards the edges of my face now. So now that I have that, I'm gonna go ahead and do my bronzer, blush, and highlight. Today I'm gonna use the #1 Light Contour Powder by Essence, and this is their like double highlight and contour powder. But I'm just going to take the powder contour, and I'm using a Bare Minerals brush. I just picked this up from TJ Maxx and I want to try it out. Let me just bring my mirror slightly closer to me. And this was like a super inexpensive brush. I got it for like $3 at TJ Maxx, which is crazy, especially for like a face brush. Like TJ Maxx has like cheap products that are like high-end products. I don't actually know what type of products goes there. Like, are they overstock? Are they like discontinued products? I'm not really sure, but I always love going there because you always find just these like random gems, and I love going there to find high-end products that I would not normally want to buy because they are so expensive, but because they're discounted there, it's like you can't pass it up. Like, I bought a bunch, like pretty much all of my Anastasia liquid lips. There are a few that I bought like on a sale when they had a buy one get one free, but really all of my Anastasia lipsticks I got at TJ Maxx or Michael's, whichever one is the one that's similar to TJ Maxx. Like I said, I can never remember which one of those is which. So your girl's a little bit fluffy, so I want to go ahead and add a little bit of contour just right here, maybe a slight bit on my forehead. I normally don't like contour my forehead, but for that I'm going to be using, oh my goodness, just fell apart. But I'm using this powder by e.l.f. and you can find this at any like Target, really wherever they sell e.l.f. I'm pretty sure. And this is their clarifying pressed powder. Now I don't see the name of this on it. I think it's like toffee or something like that. It's the darkest one that they have of this powder, and I pretty much use this as a like contour, more of like that shadow color versus like a bronzer, and just kind of using the bronzer as contour. This kind of creates more of that like depth, as you can see, but you don't want to go too heavy with this. And once you kind of place it, you want to go back over with whatever brush you used for your bronzer and just buff it out, because this can get really strong really fast. Another thing I've been doing also, just to create that more natural look, I'm really trying to not lessen the amount of makeup, but just make it look less overdone, you know. So even though this is still a lot and it's still super glam, I don't want it to look really, you know, heavy and overdone. I want to try to keep it as light as I can in the areas that I don't want to be like super glam. Like my eyes are still really heavy, but everywhere else I'm trying to keep it as light as possible while still giving me the look that I want. So I'm gonna go in with this shade. This is Guava by City Color. It's one of their baked blushes, and it basically is just gonna add a little bit of a highlight to the cheeks and add a little bit of a pink tone. And you basically just really wanna tap off the excess and then lightly apply this to your cheeks. And I've been using this brush. It's the BH Cosmetics Studio Pro number 3, and it really applies nicely and it allows you to really buff it out. Just super nice on the cheeks. So I went ahead and just wiped off that bake underneath my eyes. Now I'm gonna do my highlight. So I'm gonna take a sponge and basically just spray it with water and kind of tap off the excess water, or like mush the water into the sponge so it's not just sitting on top. And then I kind of just tap this onto my cheek, just on the top. You can even lightly spray onto your face, but then you do want to go in and just lightly pat it out so that you don't have water droplets on your actual cheek. Then you can go ahead and take a highlighter, and today I'm trying out the Physicians Formula Mineral Glow Pearls in the shade Beige Pearl. I wanted to try these out for the longest time, but I'm slightly disappointed. I didn't know that the glitter like shimmery part is an overspray. Like, hopefully you can see right in the center, it's not as sparkly as it is on the outer edges. So that was a little bit disappointing, but it's still really pretty. I just have to play with it more to see if I really love it, but just a little bit unfortunate that that glittery sparkle isn't all over, or, you know, more into the product. It's not just on top. But as you can see, it does still give a nice glow regardless. So I don't hate it, but I'm not loving it as much as I thought that I would. What I think I'm gonna do for the lower lash line is take a brown liner, if I can find mine. This one is black. I'm gonna go ahead and take this one. It's just an Ulta one that I have. I'm really not a huge fan of like pencil liners, so I don't have too many of them. I'm just going to apply a tiny bit of this under my eye. I know I didn't incorporate too much of that Tarteist Pro palette, but I will do another video using these palettes, so don't worry if you wanted to see more of that. What I'm gonna do now is take Double Life, and it's just this kind of coppery, like rusty brown shimmer color. So I'm gonna take that onto the same brush and basically just use this underneath to set that. And it basically is just going to be kind of messy for now. It doesn't have to be perfect because I am going to add another color. But I love using shimmers first, like at least for the first like color underneath my lower lash line. I like to use a shimmer because I find that for me, they're just a lot creamier than mattes, so they don't kick up product into your eye as much. And I have an issue with, no matter how much like I tap off or what sticky base I use underneath my eye, like I always get powder kick up into my eye, and it's just really irritating, and my eyes are super sensitive, so I try to do what I can to help prevent as much of that as possible. last little steps are just the highlight on the inner corner and just a slight bit of depth. I'm taking the punk shade, is it punk? Yeah, the punk shade, and I'm just going to apply that just to kind of marry it to the upper crease, because you don't want it to be a completely different color as the crease, because then it kind of does a disconnect. You want it to kind of all look seamless right here. So I just kind of applied that, and then you can go in with a small brush, your finger, whatever is easiest. And I think what I'm gonna do is take a bit of Blaze and the same shade that I used for my highlight Breakaway, just on the inner tear duct area. And I'm just gonna use a brush this time because I don't want to knock off that glitter. I normally like to use my finger for this, but I really don't want the glitter to get knocked off on the inner corner. So just applying a bit of this, and I always pull it up into that like beginning portion of my crease, so just like that. And then that is it for the eyes, other than a tiny bit of mascara. I'm gonna use my Voluminous Lash Paradise by L'Oreal. I really like this mascara, but I basically, when I have lashes, I just kind of go like this, and that helps the lash kind of look more natural, because it gets rid of all the powder and stuff on your natural lashes. Oop, got a tiny bit right there, but I can fix that. And one of my eyelashes is coming out. And then just a tiny bit. I don't really go crazy because I really have like small lower lashes, and I don't like to add too much mascara because honestly, I just feel like it emphasizes the fact that I'm missing a lot of my lower lashes. I don't know why they just don't grow in. So I just basically do that to get rid of the powder, so it doesn't look like I have like little powder like spikes on my lower lash line, but not really to add any like volume or anything to that. So now that that is done, I am going to do my lip. Now I want to do a red lip, so I'm going to take a red lip liner and just line my lip first. And so what I'm going to do is the Wet n Wild, what is this color? Berry Red number 717, and just line around the perimeter of my lip. For the holiday theme, I want to go with a very true red, so I'm going to be using the, what is this one? The Physicians Formula Healthy Lip Velvet Finish Liquid Lipstick, and this one is in the shade Fight Free Radicals, or Reticles, is it? Yeah, Reticles. So it's just their very bright, like true red liquid lip, and I'm going to apply this. And the reason I'm choosing this one over other liquid lip formulas is that this one is not drying whatsoever. It's a velvet like satin finish, so it's super comfortable on the lips. And for the holidays, when you're gonna be around family, you're gonna be eating, you're gonna be talking and just hanging out, you don't want to be dealing with a super dry, crackly liquid lipstick. So this adds that longevity versus using a normal lipstick, but it does have more of a comfortable finish. So I'm going to be using this one, and you can see it's super pretty. I love this color. Alrighty, my love, so that is the end of this video. Don't mind my hair, I still have to do that. It's still wet from my shower. I gotta go straight in that so that it looks a little bit less messy, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was really fun for me to do. I don't normally do holiday themed makeup or looks. I typically just do my everyday makeup look if I'm going to like a holiday event or party or anything like that, mainly because it's super fast, it's super simple, and it honestly goes with everything because there's really not much to it. It's kind of just like a simple brown eye with mascara or lashes and then a nude lip. But I like doing looks like this that are more holiday or on theme for whatever event it it is, because it's super exciting and fun, and it's my version of dressing up because I'm really not somebody who loves to dress up all that much. So this is my kind of dress up. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas, or just happy holidays, whatever you guys celebrate. I hope you're all having a wonderful day wherever you are. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell down below so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Also, check out my Instagram and all of those other social media platforms. I'll have them linked below, just because I really want to start getting into focusing on promoting and utilizing all these different platforms. I'm somebody who really wants to do all these things, but I haven't had the opportunity or the time to really get all these out because of other things going on. So now that I am settled in a place and college is over and all of that great stuff, I am able to really spend more time and hopefully more energy and effort into my channel. So definitely check me out on all of these platforms, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye everybody.